Okay, so I am back and I have recently received test results from the test that I was having at home that had the wires and all that stuff coming from my head. And, you know, I spent about a weekend wearing the wires and walking around with the I don't know, I guess it read my brain waves. There was a box that was connected to the wires that were connected to my scalp. So about 3 days ago, I went to the neurologist to receive the test results. And um, for one, I was extremely anxious, like not necessarily nervous, but anxious to hear what was going to be said, because I've had these tests. I haven't had the exact test where I came home, but I've had the exact same test done in 3 other states, in where I at one point even stayed at the hospital for like a week and a half with tests being run, and nothing, absolutely nothing was found. So my neurologist walked in and she's like, I got great news for you. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, what can be great from what she's about to tell me that came from these brainwave tests that's going to tell me about a seizure? So um, I'm like, okay, just let me hear it. What is it? So she says, we found that you are having smaller seizures, and you're having quite a few of them. So we want to up your dosage. And there was a while back, when the medication that I'm on, uh, it started making me have like pains in my stomach, like a shredding feeling. It was really, really painful. And I called into the doctor's office. I was frantic and I wanted them to up my dosage and all these things. I was kind of losing it a little bit. And now I can understand why they didn't up my dosage, because they upped my dosage now, and it's been 2 days since I've started taking it, and the medicine is really, really, really powerful. It's a anti-epileptic medication or anticonvulsant, and since the dose has been upped, or since the dose has been increased, and it's only been increased by 50 milligrams. I was originally taking 100 milligrams twice daily. Now I'm taking 150 milligrams twice daily. But now my body has to adjust to the stronger dosage, and it's still a baby dose. But the things that I'm feeling now, since the medicine has been increased, is like a shortness of breath, or not necessarily a shortness of breath, but more or less it feels like my chest is heavy, or there's a pressure on my chest, like the time that it would take for me to normally inhale and exhale, it's like that's cut in half now. Almost, it feels like um, I get winded, or I have gotten winded a lot, like just doing small tasks around the house that got me pretty winded, like just waking up in the morning and getting myself dressed. I want to lay back down. I want to actually go back to sleep. When normally, maybe if I lay back down, I'm still at least doing some work, but I want to go back to sleep. So hopefully that's something that I overcome or surpass soon. Hopefully my body adjusts to that really, really soon, because I don't like just feeling like I'm just laying around. That's the number one thing with the medication, with any type of medication, that I've always had an issue with, and it's making me sluggish, or what I feel like is lazy. I don't have a desire to do anything. I feel like I'm a creative by nature, and a lot of times the medication kind of puts a halt to that. It kind of dulls that creative process for me, I feel. So um, I haven't necessarily seen if it if it has affected me in that way yet, but I hope it doesn't. I am finding that that the smaller seizures that the doctor was speaking about that I maybe wasn't noticing in the past, I am feeling like I can feel them, or not necessarily feel them, but notice like, oh, maybe I just had one, because there's a small slot of time that's just went missing from what I was doing, or I was just about to go into something and now it's not quite there. I don't really know how to explain it verbally, but for example, if I was in the process of reaching for this apple, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting at this table and I'm facing that way, trying to figure out why am I sitting at the table, and the possibility is I've just had one of those small seizures and just sat myself down, out of me naturally going into the process of me getting myself into a safe place or something like that. I naturally like being on the floor, so I can't necessarily say that I spend more time on the floor. Here recently, I have found myself on the floor more, but that's just my comfortable zone. But I think I'll probably be there a little bit more. As far as physical work goes, I am having to make a lot of changes with what I should be doing physically, just until I know exactly how my body has adjusted. But for the most part, I'm not going to say I feel cured or anything like that. I have still been having seizures. Just recently, like I said, just increased the dosage, but I'm going to still remain hopeful and hope that I get to a point where there are no actual physical seizures. There's nothing, halting me from doing anything, and also without the side effects, because I am winded right now just from doing this speech. Okay. But I do remember feeling for 2 days before it that there were times where I would have the aura like I normally have before I have a grand mal seizure, but not necessarily go through all of the steps of having a seizure. I would feel like the flush feeling, like my soul is leaving my body, and I might just lay down, but not necessarily have a seizure. And that was happening, like I said, for 2 days. I was feeling bad. I mentioned to Mo a couple of times, I'm not feeling good right now. It doesn't feel right. It never developed into a full-on seizure until it was late. I think I'm around 1 a.m. and I was just doing some small things around the house and kind of staying up to wait for Mo to get home. But I started to feel down or flushed or tired, and I just laid down. And when I woke, I asked, did it happen again? And you were like, yeah, when I came in, you were having one. So it's like, if I'm awake, I feel like I can sense it coming. But there's nothing that I can do if it's coming, but prepare myself to not be around a hard metal corner or somewhere where I'm gonna be able to break glass, or stay away from doors where because there's a time in between me having a seizure and being fully conscious where I'm liable to just up and do anything, and I have no recollection that I'm doing it. You can tell that I'm not necessarily in control of my body. I look like a zombie when I'm moving around. It's kind of odd and awkward, but so I just try to get myself in a position or in a place. And for me, at that time, it was to get in bed. I tried to make sure that I didn't have as many pillows and blankets in the bed, but I don't know what I did in the process because it seemed like there was a lot of pillows and blankets in the bed when I woke up. Well, my biting my tongue. There's one spot on the right side that I seem to favor when I'm having a seizure. So that I did bite into pretty bad. My tongue was swollen for a few days. It's usually hard for me to eat certain things. It's like I'm so used to it now, I forget about it. I remember when I would accidentally bite back down on it, or when I go to brush my teeth and the bristles from the toothbrush touch the swollen part of my tongue, or the open and exposed part of my tongue, or when I go to drink water and it tastes like blood in my mouth, then I remember. But for the most part, I'm so used to it that it's like it's an everyday thing now.
All right, can you tell everybody your name and how they can follow you online?
My name is Andrea Tyler, or Sustah. On Instagram, you can follow me at Sustah82. That's SUSTAH82. On Facebook, you can follow me at Andrea Tyler, and that's AndreaTyler. On YouTube, you can follow my company page at Fireproof TV.
Make sure you subscribe and like the video.
Subscribe, like, and share the video.